Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching or listening to me from. My name is Ayoti, and this is the Naija FC podcast, where we bring you our raw and honest, unfiltered opinions on all the hottest and latest topics in the world of Nigerian football. And boy, we have another exciting show for you tonight. On tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about everything from review of what I would officially call our first weekend of football in a 2025 slash 2026 season. So I would officially mark this episode as the first episode in a new season of the Naija FC podcast. Thank you to everyone that's with us. If this is your first time watching or listening to the pod, welcome. I appreciate you. We talk about all the hottest and latest topics in Nigerian football, and we always say our honest thoughts and feelings, regardless of who might be upset. Not that we aim to upset people, it's just how it goes. We're going to talk about a review of the first official weekend of action. We'll talk about the couple of transfers that have happened. We'll talk about the Chan Eagles and the upcoming match against Sudan. We'll get into a little bit of talk, on a situation that's surrounding or impacting the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We'll talk about the Super Falcons briefly. We'll talk about the Ballon d'Or nominations, where two of our own were nominated for different awards. And then we'll talk about the ex-Super Falcons because they've been in the news recently. And we'll wrap up by discussing Sunday Oliseh's comments. The former Nigeria captain and coach had some comments to make about Nigeria's current biggest star, Victor James Osimhen, and his move to Galatasaray or his lack of movement to the English Premier League. It is going to be an exciting one. So thank you very much for joining me. I always like to start the pod by talking about different Nigerian players who were in action over the weekend and putting decent enough performances. So yes, let's get into that. We had one goalkeeper putting a good performance over the weekend. Stanley Umabali was in goal for Chippa United, making two saves and creating one chance. So yes, Stanley Umabali back in action, back with a good performance for Chippa United. So kudos to him for that one. Of course, Stanley Wabali remains the Super Eagles' number one goalkeeper. And while there have been reports of him moving to a different team, it looks like that's where he's going to be. We also have Franklin Uchenna-Atebo, defender this time. Three clearances, three interceptions, 6 goals, one for Salzburg. We had Shemi Ajayi making his debut, keeping a clean sheet, making two tackles, winning 9 goals, and making 9 clearances for Hull City in the English Championship. We had Vince Osuji with one tackle, 2 blocks, 3 goals, one, 6 clearances for Club NXT. That is the second team of Club Brugge. We had Ayo Bileye with a goal, 5 clearances, and 9 goals, one for SJK in Finland. I believe that's where they are. And then Uchenna Arerism with a clean sheet and 5 goals, one for Sparta Prague in their 1-0 victory over Sigma Olmok. Bertusai Osamo also made his debut and won the Player of the Match award while creating one goal scoring chance and winning 5 goals for Birmingham City in the EFL Championship. Moving over to the midfielders, Tochiko Nadi put in a good performance with one chance created, 3 tackles, 5 goals, one for Zolto Waragem in Belgium. It was a very, very impressive victory for them over Anderlecht. Peter Agba with an assist for NK Olympia. Anthony Dennis was on target for Göztepe in Turkey. And then for the forwards, Abdullahi Tanko with an assist for FK Pardubic in Czech Republic. Philip Otele, one assist, 3 dribbles completed for FC Basel. Unfortunately, they fell to a defeat in that one. Emmanuel Lume with 2 dribbles and one chance created for FC Zurich. Elijah Odede was on target for Sheriff Tiraspol in Moldova. We had Rashida Kombi with a goal for Boluspor. Toluwala Kodare came off the bench to score his first goal of the season for KRC Genk. Formerly linked to Bayern Munich and other clubs, looks like he's going to be staying with KRC Genk this season, and he scored his first goal of the season. AGK Okpara with 1 goal and one assist for Novi Pazza. Emeka Eze with a goal for Korum FK in Turkey. William Agara was the assist provider for Real Salt Lake City in the USA. Abiodun Oguni was on target for FK Laipaha in Latvia. And then, of course, youngster Parobo Arieri scored 2 goals for Jondalen in Norway. There you have it, guys. That is the wrap up of the weekend. Let me know in the comments who impressed you, who did you like, and who are you looking forward to seeing when the top leagues resume in this coming weekend. On that note, at that junction, I'll bring in my co-host, Smilai. Smilai, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Another beautiful Monday. We are here again to do justice to the topics. So nice to be here.
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah.
So it's been like I've just run through the different players that performed over the weekend. Was there anybody that particularly impressed you? Was there anybody that let you down? What are your thoughts?
The future is bright from bright side somewhere. I
Hmm.
saw the caption when after the game on Friday, last Friday, he did so well for Birmingham City on Friday. It reminds me of his debut against Portugal, for
Hmm.
Nigeria. How he did so well too. Let's hope he can show what keep it up. So he's playing the championship. So, but let's hope he's going to show what keep it up. So for me, I'm really impressed with bright side somewhere.
Hmm. Marcus Ayesamo.
Yes.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on Parubo Areri? You know,
Yes.
you've bigged him up in the past and tipped him for great things. Scored two
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, what I like we discussed before is game time. He needs to get game time. He needs to start. He needs to get game time. When he
Hmm.
plays, he could have scored a trick in that game. Because I saw the highlight of that game. So for me, I'm really impressed with him. It's just for him to score goals. Maybe let's see, maybe he can finish with like 10 or 15 goals this season. You never know. If he can finish like 10 or 15 goals this season, maybe probably he should be moving to the top tier or even bigger can come for him. He's a natural goal talent. But
Hmm.
the funny thing is that at his age, young players you want to plait their hair. Well, he's bald. He went to he's bald now. I was like, come on, stop it. But I'm really happy for Paulo Barry, and I hope that he continues. He's a good, you can see that he's a finisher. He's a finisher.
Yeah, and I really like his movements in and around that penalty area. He has good movement. He has that instinctive nature of knowing where to be, where the ball is going to land, and
Yeah.
that is something that is very underrated. But all the top strikers have it. You
Mm,
just know where the ball is going to fall in the box so that you can get on it. And then
yeah.
when you're scoring certain goals that maybe people are looking at as easy goals,
Hmm.
they might be saying, how is he the one that is always tapping it in? I
Yeah.
think a perfect example of a player that does like that is like Harry Kane. Harry
Yeah.
Kane scores so many easy goals that you'd be like, it's just tapping, it's just tapping. But or even Cristiano Ronaldo, but it's
Yeah.
because they know where to be
Yeah.
in the box. And
Yeah.
now I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not comparing him to Harry Kane, I'm not comparing him to Ronaldo. I'm just saying that he has instinctiveness of knowing where the ball is probably going to land and making sure
Yeah.
that he's in the right spot in the box to finish.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about one more player, like Tochiko Inadi.
Hmm.
Last season, got promoted with Zolta Waregem, being a player that was, coming here and there. Now they are in the top division in Belgium. He seems to have earned the spot as a starter for them. This is a young player who represented Nigeria at the under 20 level in the past. Do you think he is set for a breakout season at 22 years old, playing in Belgium's top division? We know that Belgium, that's a league that is a developmental league. If you play well there, you will get noticed. Do you
Hmm.
think Kunadi might be set for a breakout here?
Yes, yes, yes. There's no doubt about his talent. He's a very good player. And he's someone that you cannot really even question his age. Because I dug deep really, and I knew when he was so little. So to tell you that it would be around that age, he's a guy with a very big future. I like his style of play. Similar to Michael Essien. It's
Mm.
very energetic. Can go up and down. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Don't forget that our own very good friend Ndidi too. As his breakout season in Belgium before he moved to
Mm.
England, and but since I'm stressing, my Magaro did the same thing. Even Nakamba. I don't know if you know Marvelous Nakamba too.
Marvelous Nakamba, yeah,
Nakamba,
Zimbabwean guy.
Belgium. A lot of players actually want to break out in Belgium. They now to the top leagues. So for me, even the guy that just donated him down from Claude Brugge, is it Jazari or so? One that played alongside Onyedika in the midfield for his club. So for me, if he performs well, this class I was watching. See, Belgium is like the developmental league like the breeding ground for these European the big boys in Europe. So there's one thing about Belgium is that there is no European quota. You can bring in anybody. So it's not as if we have 3 European quotas. We have no. There's nothing like that. So for me, if he performs well, I think a move to France, Germany, England might be up for him. Yeah,
No, amazing, amazing. Shout out to Tochiko Nadi. I've
yeah,
spoken to him in the past after the 20 World Cup. So if you If you want, you can go and check for that interview. That's just a quick plug
I think you will need to do
for
another
my
one.
YouTube channel. No, I mean, I'll talk to him again when something happens.
No, I think after this season you might probably do another
Well, let's see how this season goes. Let's see how the season
one.
goes.
Yeah,
Let's see how the season goes. So, wishing him all the best.
yeah.
Okay, moving on very quickly, Smith. Like, let's get into transfer talk.
Mhm,
But before we get into the transfers that have happened officially, I want to ask you. We're talking about Belgium.
mhm,
Tolo Arokodare, Rafael Onyedika, two
mhm,
of our players in Belgium that we had expected to be on the move
mhm,
this summer.
mhm.
We had different reports about teams interested even before the season ended. During the window, the window is still open, but
Yeah.
they've started the season with their clubs.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think something has not materialized already? This summer was supposed to be a big summer for Nigerian players, but it has very much not lived up to the expectation, and we haven't had much happening. So, but those players, Onyedika and Arokodare, what do you think is the hold up?
Maybe the scouts listen to you when you're like, and maybe they also check the comments, the back and forth in the comment section. But that's just a lighter note. On the footballing side, okay. For example, now IoT, you're a businessman, and you own a club, and you want to get a striker. You will know the type of striker you want to get. And I know that we still get to one certain issue, discussion later,
Mm.
about the biggest boy. So a type of player you want to get. Do you want a striker like Turu Godare?
It depends on the club.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
if
I'm
I'm
talking
the
about.
if I'm the if I'm the owner of Burnley, if I'm the owner of West Ham, if
Hmm.
I'm the owner of Union Berlin, if
Hmm.
I'm the owner of those kinds of clubs that traditionally play with big strikers, physical strikers with presence in the air,
Hmm.
I would say yes, I'm interested. If
Yeah,
I'm the owner of a club that is like an Arsenal or like a Liverpool that requires my striker to be able to play football, pass, link up, all those things, then no. But I believe that there is a market for Arokodare.
yeah. I also believe so too. But I think he wants to go to England, according to reports. I didn't hear anything from him, but I think he wants to go to England. So I know that team in Germany because this guy plays in Germany now. Is he Wargos like Wolfgos? I don't know what this
Wout
guy like.
Regos,
Wargos, yes.
the
He's
former
so
United striker.
yeah, former United. I think he even Luke De Jong, the
Mm.
former Barcelona striker too. So you have type of strikers like that. There's market for Aguero, we know that, but I think it's where he actually wants. I think he wants to play in England.
Mm.
So you look at can this guy actually help me? I think there can be market for him, but it depends on how much Gen too. One thing because at the end of the day, you have to look at how much do they want to sell this guy.
Mm.
How much am I going to pay this guy for 4 years? What's going to actually happen? Did this guy have a resale value? You said something that he impressed one season. Hmm. Are we going to be in trouble if we get him? He needs to prove himself more. The guy you're talking about, Benjamin Sesko, is not the first season going to impress. I think he's played
Mm.
like 2 or 3 seasons now. Victor Acores, even when he was in Coventry, he did well. I remember him losing to Luton Town in the playoffs before he went to Sporting Lisbon. So,
But me like see,
yes.
people like Sesko and Gyökeres, they are joining Man U Arsenal. We are
Mm-hmm.
not asking Arokodare to join those clubs. Those
Mm-hmm.
clubs are far above him right now.
Uh-huh.
We're talking about just joining a mid-table English team or
Do,
mid-table Spanish team or mid-table German, mid-table Italian,
no.
French.
Let's focus on England. Do you think that he can join Aston Villa?
No, he can't.
He can't. Okay. Do you think because you're talking about Jesco now, I'm talking about Man U. Man U is 15 though. Man U is not a top level.
But no, but Man U finished 15th. But historically, United is. You would
Okay.
expect them to bounce back.
Let's talk
You
about
would.
Nottingham Forest now.
Okay,
You-
Forest.
So, but do you think that you will take Harukudari out of Awoniyi?
No, but okay. Are you telling me that Sunderland could not have signed him instead of McGuire? McGuire, who they just signed from Chelsea, did not play for Chelsea last
Is he
season.
not the same Magui that played for Baka?
But what did he play for back?
No, I see that boy. I seen it.
What did you play for
That,
Baka now?
that
Come
boy,
on.
that boy, that boy.
What
I
did
seen it.
you play for Baka?
That
Yeah,
boy.
maybe Sunderland could not have signed him. Or Burnley.
I think Burnley and Fulham could be the best bet for him. But
Burnley signed Amando Broja.
mhm.
Broja, I know that yes, Broja has Premier League experience, so maybe
Yeah,
they're looking at that and saying, and he's younger than Arukodare, so they
uh-huh.
might be looking at that and saying, okay, but Broja is also very injury prone.
Mhm.
This South African guy, Lau Foster, also plays for Burnley. The thing
Burnley.
with Burnley is that they got promoted, they had a fantastic season last year,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and they kept majority of their core players and
Mhm.
just brought in a few here and there.
Mhm.
Maybe somebody might argue that Broja is better than Arukodare, who knows? But I still think that maybe he could have been bought by a team like Burnley. I already mentioned Sunderland. Leeds United, I would say maybe he's not,
Yeah, I
maybe, maybe he's not the type of striker, but Patrick Bamford is 31 years old. They bought this Nigerian guy that doesn't play for Nigeria, Lucas Mecha,
mhm.
Leeds United. Could
Mhm.
they have? We also heard Daniel Farker, their coach, spoke earlier about Patrick Bamford not necessarily being in the plans. I don't know
Yeah,
if things have changed there.
yeah.
But Harry could have come into Leeds United as well, unless he's looking for a high-level Premier League team, which I don't think he's going to get.
Do you think if for me, I think it's got a market too. I just think that you've already mentioned this market there.
Mm.
Maybe the clubs are not interested. You never know. These guys, they make decisions too. Maybe probably they have seen. For me, I have my reservations about his game, but for me, I still think that clubs should to gamble on him. Maybe probably they want
Okay,
to watch it for one more season before they
maybe.
actually pay that money.
Just to move on from Haruko very quickly, but I want to ask. I guess my fear is this: can he do better than what he did last year?
This is when he needs to challenge himself. This is when no top players. You need to look at last season. If you're gonna stay with the Genk, then you have to work harder now.
Mm.
So it's a guy that can work hard. Let's hope and let's see exactly what he can actually do. For me, I think he can do that. He can do better.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly, Onyedika, what do you think is the hold up with Onyedika?
In fact, they have linked him with nearly every team in this world. With Barcelona, with Manchester United, with West Ham, with and everything. But the issue is that nobody is putting in the bid for Afro-Yediga. And I asked one guy, he's scout for Man United. And he said they have mentioned him before. Maybe probably they think that they want the Premier League. I think they went for Ugarte before. I don't think Ugarte really worked out well for them. So they want a Premier League proven, player, and they're going for Baleba now. So um, for me, I just think that West Ham is his best bet. They're going to fight relegation, but it's just sad that there's no big suitors for Indica. I just think that he also needs to actually add more to his game too. Honestly,
Mm. Okay, okay. Let us keep the conversation going. Somebody
mm-hmm.
said he had 15 and 23 in his first two seasons, full seasons. Nothing is impressive about 15 in the Belgian league. 23 last year was quite impressive considering he was one of the best players in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, compared to the standard of the top division, it also still falls a little bit short of what we've seen even a
Mm-hmm.
Cologne do in Belgium in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said it last year, he was upset. But I think that he needs to step up a couple levels.
Yeah,
Somebody said he's not the players that will buy themselves. Yes, we're not asking him to go to their training ground and sell himself. We are more so discussing why is it that these people are not coming for him the way we would hope that they would come for him. So we're not saying that he should force himself there. We're asking why they are not coming for him. But let's talk about two transfers that have been officially completed. The first one we spoke about last week, so we don't have too much on it. But Wilfred Ndidi has officially joined Besiktas in the Turkish Super League on a 3-year deal with an option for a further year. This deal completed by his Nigerian agents. So congratulations to everybody involved. They welcomed him well. They posted some crisp photos of him. They did an interview with him. He sounds happy and excited to be playing in Besiktas, playing in Turkey. I saw somebody in the comments said that he took the come to Besiktas comments a little bit too seriously. But Smilaye, how do you feel about this one out of this official? Wilfred Ndidi, Besiktas.
He's a guy that people have already called me names. When I ask questions about his ability. But fantastic move for him. I will not lie to you, but he's a player that I think myself that is a player that would have done better, than moving to Besiktas, But I wish him luck. When he left Genk to Leicester, we think that, this is a player that can actually would play for one of the big European teams. Over the years, he has been linked to like Man United. He has been linked to Barcelona. He has been to the big teams. Bayern Munich. I do remember Bayern Munich. Have been linked to Bayern Munich, but unfortunately, from Bayern to everything, um, he's not going to Turkey. If let's be honest ourselves on this matter, this is like a downward trajectory in
Mm.
his career. That is what you have to accept. It's not this thing, and this might be like everything is like trying to draw the curtain now. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's not as if we should I'd say, we can see jump up because people have been talking. You can see your comments. Hey, it's from Saudi to Man U, from this to Man U. See, it happens once in a while. This is a downward trajectory for Ndidi. I wish him the very best of luck. I hope he go and enjoy his game in Turkey. The Turkish league now, it's not the Turkish league of 90s, and Besiktas is not a big club. Let it stand that, with due respect to them. So I wish him very best of luck there, but it's a downward trajectory. That is the fact. I don't think.
Okay. Wish him the best of luck. I don't want to get too much into it. I like Ndidi. I think he's a good player. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've just said it that it's hard for me to criticize any of our players going to Turkey now, considering the fact that our best player is
Uh-huh.
there, and Nigerian fans have been justifying our best player being there. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to justify our best player being there, how do you criticize a player who a lot of people feel is
Mm-hmm.
coming towards the end of his career and maybe his best days are past him?
Mm-hmm.
I would be watching Kinley to see how indeed he does over there in Besiktas. It's not exciting for me because I would hope that our players would prefer to stay in the biggest leagues in the world. But I want to see how it goes for him. The contract is longer than I would have liked as well. But maybe he's looking at it as a way that he can stay comfortably and finish his career,
Mm-hmm.
in Turkey. I don't really think that the chance of maybe one other big team coming for him in the future is that high. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? Stranger things
Knows?
have happened,
Yes.
but it doesn't really seem to me like there's any future big move that will
Mm-hmm.
come. It kind of seems like, okay, this move to me has marked Ndidi is officially coming into the swan song of his career. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what this move has marked for me. But
Mm-hmm.
I wish him all the best. I'll continue to root for him. He will
Mm-hmm.
continue to be a Super Eagles player. I keep saying
Yeah.
this until we have people that are clearly better than him.
Yeah.
He's going to be there. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't have those people yet. So
Yeah.
let's see how it goes. Wishing him all the very best.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, like not a Super Eagles player, but someone that we know has been wanting to play for Nigeria for a long time. To be honest, at this point, maybe he will never play for us. Who knows? Chubakom, he
Mm-hmm.
has joined Ipswich Town in the EFL Championship on a season-long loan from AFC Ajax. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
we know that he spent the second half of last season on loan at LOSC Lille in
Mm-hmm.
the French Ligue 1, and then now he's taking his talents back to the UK, playing for Ipswich Town, who just got relegated from the English Premier League and are playing in the Championship. How do you see this move? For somebody that wants to play for the Super Eagles, is a move to Ipswich Town something that can potentially help, or should we just dead it and forget about that?
I know. See, he's back to his familiar territory, where he knows how to hunt very well. It was championship player of the season about 3 years ago before he
Let him
actually
go. Mm.
moved to Ajax. Let's be honest with ourselves. He did really do well in Ajax, before he got loaned out to Lille in France. For me, see, apart from that championship season when he won the player of the season, I don't think he has really helped himself for Super Eagles call up. Let's
Mm.
be honest with ourselves. So people can argue and argue and argue. That's not even end say Super Eagles call up. And this move to H3 will not even help. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? When you have our players too, everybody's moving downward. That is honest ourselves, I don't see anybody moving upward this season. IoT. I don't know, maybe you have a different opinion about that. So it's a similar pattern move to the one we have experienced this morning since we started the program. So I wish him well, but his own problem is that there's no super goal up already, and people are. I just don't think that his pitch time will really help him. He's going there to replace the lap. your guy that just signed for Chelsea. So let's hope that he could, if he can perform the way they last perform, and if we actually want get promoted. But let's see, let's see. I don't think the move now will help the Super Eagles' chances.
No, I think I have to say that you are right in the sense of saying his best time was when he had that fantastic year
Mm-hmm.
for Middlesbrough in the
It's good.
championship,
Yeah.
and unfortunately he didn't get the call up then. So it is hard to see how he's going to get the call up now because he
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been lighting it up like that since then. He had a tough time at Ajax. He made the move to Lille. He did
Mm-hmm.
okay when he came off the bench a couple times and played for Lille, but nothing too exciting. And now, like you said, going back to familiar territory, going back to a country where he has done well, going back to a league where he played his best football, hoping that he's going to be able to make a name for himself again. Super Eagles, again, I don't think it's particularly going to happen this season, but of course, other strikers, other forwards. Let's see how they perform. Who knows who might be good? Who knows who might not be good? Everything is up in the air, man. The way this transfer window has panned out, honestly, I'm very unsure. The only thing that I'm sure of in terms of our forward players is that Osimhen is going to score goals for Galatasaray. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing that I'm sure of. Every other player, you look at it and you think anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen. Even down to a Cyril Dessas, you know, some games he starts, some games he's on the bench, some games he scores goals and plays well, some games he has, like his last match was absolutely shambolic. So it's really up in the air when it comes to Nigerian forwards. Victor Boniface probably going to be on the bench. Arokodare probably going to play. Can he meet up and have the same kind of season I had last year? We wait and see. Came off the bench, scored his first goal, so we're happy about that. But we're not too sure. Terry Murphy back fully fit. Is this the year that Murphy returns to the Super Eagles? We wait and see. You
And
know,
they sold their player to Aston Villa, Is it good that like
mm.
and Lille next year, the August next year. So
So yeah, it could be a big year for certain strikers. It could also not be such a big year for certain strikers. I'm
mm-hmm.
wishing everybody all the very best, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wishing everybody all the very best. So, like, before I move away from transfers, I want to ask you, considering how the window has gone so far and how all the Nigerian players are finally poised in their teams, who would you say is the Nigerian player that is playing for the biggest club this season?
Hmm. Let me just say the facts straight. I know that I don't maybe you don't. I thought we are going to talk about that one later, but let me just address it now. We don't have players in top clubs, and I think the only player that we have in like the biggest club now, I would say, is the AC Milan guy.
Samuel Chukwueze.
Yes, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, he was playing with a late too. Against against Leeds, the big boys played against Chelsea. So I think it's Chukwueze. It's Chukwueze. It's Chukwueze. I think AC Milan is bigger than Bayern Leverkusen.
Hmm.
Yes, I think AC Milan is bigger than Bayern Leverkusen. I think it's Samuel Chukwueze. I don't think we have any player in a big club now. So the days of like saying we have players. Please, guys, go and rest. Oh. Go
Hmm.
and rest. We don't have
Our
players.
players are all mid table.
It's some even some that are mid before. They are going below mid. They are going below mid. In
Hmm.
fact, these are not the good times for Nigerian football.
Hmm.
These are not the good. This is not the good times for Nigerian football.
Hmm.
Not a good time for Nigerian football at all.
It's tough. It's tough. And even that one that we're talking about playing in the biggest club is not even a key player.
He's not even a starter. They want to sell
Yeah.
him to Fulham.
Hmm.
So he might be joining the mid. So who say? Do you think Bayer Leverkusen is bigger than Fulham? Is it not bigger? Yes.
Historically, yes.
Yes. I think so.
Historically, Bayer Leverkusen was bigger.
Yes. So
Even
that
the
means that
even the even the Boniface where people they laugh. Now he can be the player at the second biggest club.
yes, but Boniface is not even I'm not even sure he's gonna play because I watched Bayer Leverkusen game very well and I realized that it's like Nintendo will be instrumental to him this
Hmm.
season. He has been playing key roles this season. So when I realized that Boniface had been playing by 5 minutes, it's like the third choice striker after Kofani and Sheikh. So I see it like we're in a deep mess.
Okay. I just wanted to ask that. We'll get into talk about
Conversation
other this
later.
thing later.
Yeah.
Shout out to Uche for the super chat. Much, much, much appreciated. Thank you for your support. Thank you very much. And at this junction, I want to just say, if there's anyone that's still watching us on Facebook, on Instagram, or any social media platform that is not named YouTube, make sure you switch over now. The stream is going to end on other platforms in about 30 seconds. So please, 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 if you are watching anywhere else, make sure you switch over to YouTube. Now, just search for our handle at Eagles Tracker NG on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch the rest of the show. Thank you very much. God bless you guys. Join us on YouTube right now. Okay. Someone said Eletu showed glimpses. Hmm. Someone said Iwobi and Basi are our biggest players, considering that they are starters.
Basi
Lookman,
is the best player in Fulham. He's better.
yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I was drafting my FPL squad today, and Basi is 4.5. So I was like, maybe I can put Basi because I don't know if you play FPL, but they've added defensive contributions as a
Mm-hmm.
way to end points. Because I know Basi is not going to score me goals. Fulham is not going to keep that many clean sheets. But I was wondering, I was looking at his defensive contributions from last season, and it was looking at for 4.5, which is a cheap price on FPL. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, it's somebody that can get me a fair amount of defensive contribution. So I currently have him in my draft. A lot can still change in my team between now and Friday when the season starts. But Calvin Bassey, I might be looking at you for points. I was thinking of Iwobi as well, because Iwobi, of course, had a good season last year.
Mm-hmm.
They are starting the season against Brighton. Brighton likes to concede goals, but then their next two matches after Brighton are Man U and Chelsea. So I was like, even if he gets me points in the first game against Brighton, how is he going to do
Mm-hmm.
in the next two games? So I kind of left Iwobi out a little bit. Calvin Bassey, I can put him because he's cheap, and I can put him on my bench. Bring on another player in a forward or midfield position. Man, FPL is a lot of strategizing and everything. And I always get tired towards the middle of the season because it gets so busy and you start racking your brain so much. But I love it, man. I've been playing FPL for like 8 years now or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Okay. Uche is saying non-appearance of the last World Cup is what is causing it in terms of our players not playing for top clubs. And like, do you think so that it's because we didn't go to the last World Cup?
Yeah, I World Cup F's. If you remember how Morocco performed, Amrabat got a move to Man U, or Knight got a move to Marcel. These guys got moves. But what happens if you don't do well at the World Cup? So if you don't perform well at the big stage,
Mm.
you will not get moves. So sometimes you might get moved, not be able to handle it. But I can tell you, I know we'll go to Victor Osimhen's matter later. But let me just keep that one for Victor Osimhen's matter. Yeah.
Mm. Somebody said create an Eagle Tracker FPL league. Interestingly enough, an Eagle Tracker FPL league already exists, with quite a number of people in the league. Before the end of this program, I'll get you the league code. So I'll put the league code so that if you want to join, you can join. But an FPL league already exists. It used to be a monetized league in the past.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I stopped doing the money part of it because it became a lot to manage, man. Like, it became a lot to manage every week. You have to give away prizes, you have to announce the top this thing. It honestly just became a lot for me to manage, and I didn't really have any help at the time. So I was like, you know what, I'm not even doing this. People go to disturb, yeah, my money, my money. I was just like, see, I beg, was the need for me? I'm not making any money out of this, so why am I doing it?
Do
But
you
it was,
register with money?
what do you say?
Is it free? Register free?
No, no, no. So you pay to register and then you win money. But at the same time, if people are sending, I'm the one that was holding everybody's money.
Uh-huh.
So there's responsibility to keep
Too much.
everybody informed, to be accountable, to make sure. It was just a lot of management that I was like, and I still have other things that I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just said, well, I'm not doing that again. Play for free. Just play for free. Enjoy
Mm-hmm.
yourselves, and everybody. And maybe at the end of the season, the person that wins, we can just give the person a prize, and
Yeah.
that was easier for me to deal with than for me to be collecting everybody's money. My friends over at Football Fans Tribe, if you want to join a paid league, they are doing their own league. It's 20,000 naira to register. And I think the winner is going to get maybe some percentage of the total amount of this thing. But
I think 1
yeah,
million. So
so it's going to be good. I'm in a paid league with a few of my friends. So that one should be interesting as well. I know people that take this thing seriously. I know some people that if FPL was a job, they will work as employees because they take it religiously. Like they love to play it. And to be honest, it's a very engaging way to watch the Premier League season. It's only FPL that will make you as a Chelsea fan be praying for Salah to score, or be
Mm-hmm.
be praying for Haaland to score when you're supposed to be rooting against them. But yes, I'll get the code for our league. It's free to join. There's hundreds of people in the league already, and you can join and see how you stack up against the rest of the Eagle Tracker community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep the conversation going. Speed like Chan Eagles.
Yeah.
First game, 1-0 defeat to Senegal. Second game is coming up tomorrow.
Yeah.
They are going to be facing Sudan. In a pre-match press conference, Coach Eric Shell said, "I just want to win. I just want to win." Um, how do you see about this one? It's a make or break clash. If they lose this game, probably out of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Are you confident? Do you think that the boys have enough? On paper, people go to talk Sudan. How won't we beat Sudan? But this is Chan. This is not the first team. How do you feel about this game?
For me, I think, like Eric Chair said, this is the game of their lives. Even if they can lose this game, that is the end of the road. Losing two games, and that Pascal Yashi was even out of contention. For me, I agree with Eric Shell, and I don't trust these Chan Eagles. I have to be honest. They might go there tomorrow and actually would perform well and beat Sudan, but it's just a more difficult game than what we see on paper. Sudan got one of the biggest clubs in Africa, Almeric and Adida. Though they don't have a functional league now, they play currently in Mauritania. So like eight of their teams play in Mauritania. So, but still, they're very, very strong team. For example, now if a Sudanese team could come to Nigeria and pay like 800K for your players to take, and you are saying that they are not more competitive than what you have to present. For me, I think they seem like a better side, and that they are the strongest team in this group. But Nigeria, you can never underrate Nigeria, a Nigerian team. You don't know exactly what they will do. The odds are against them tomorrow. I hope they can actually come and make their coach proud. If I'm to say it, I will. It's like a bittersweet thing for me. I want Nigeria to win. I also want Eritrea to come back home quickly. I
Let
don't
him go and focus on the
focus
more
on World Cup
important thing.
qualifiers. So it's just like I don't want us to get disgrace from Chan. I also want Eric Shell to come and focus on the assignment in front of him. I know if you look at Eric Shell in the press conference today, in fact, his grey hair is becoming more and more. Just because of these people are stressing his head out. So I hope that he can just take it easy and try and get a win tomorrow. He's going to be playing against Kosiapia, the Ghanaian coach of Sudan. Tomorrow, very good man. He has been to the World Cup before for Ghana. Also trying to qualify Sudan for the World Cup. So it's going to be a very tough game tomorrow. But let's wait and see. I can't give you any prediction now, but
Hmm.
I don't see how we're going to score goals. That's my problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think that honestly, maybe the NFF just wanted it to be that Coach Eric Shell is quote unquote working for his money. Maybe they
Mm-hmm.
just didn't want it to be as if, oh, he's collecting salary for this month, but he's not doing anything. That's why they engaged him.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, I think that he needs to go and focus on more important things. We have
Mm-hmm.
world qualifiers coming up in September.
Mm-hmm.
We're only a couple of weeks away from that.
3 weeks.
So for me, why is he having to, with all due respect, deal with all these players that will not make his main
Mm-hmm.
team.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish them all the best against Sudan. I don't want to say they wouldn't win the game, but based on the showing in the first match, there's nothing to be too excited about. I'm kind of believing that the game might end in a draw. I think it
Mm-hmm.
could be a 1-1 draw. But let's see how it goes, man. I wish them all the best. For the sake of the home-based players and for the sake of the Nigerian league, I would like them to win. But for the sake of the Super Eagles and Eric Shell, I
Yeah.
wouldn't be too upset
Mm-hmm.
if they just crash out of the tournament and let's move on. Because to be honest, if we win Chan, it's not going to do anything for us particularly.
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria is not going to start bragging or parading winning the Chan. The only positive is that it would help to showcase and to promote the MPFL players a little bit and the league promotes it a little bit more.
Mm.
But we've seen the players from the league when they come and play with the big boys, they've been finding it hard to keep up. So I
Mm.
don't know if anybody is even going to be fooled by a good Chan outing. Let
Yes.
the countries that actually take their league seriously, let them enjoy the Chan, and those of us
Mm.
that do not, we can go home. I think that it would have been best for them to assign the Chan team to a Nigerian league coach.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever they think is the best coach there, they could have just given him the job and just let
Yes.
him let him lead the players. But yeah, wishing them all the best in the game against Sudan. Let us see how everything goes. Let us see how everything goes.
Yes.
Talking about Eric Shell, talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. This is not involving us particularly, but it has an implication on us. And a lot of people have been asking, including the former Super Eagles head coach, Geno Raw. FIFA, when are you going to make a decision on South Africa? We are expecting them to be docked 3 points for playing an illegal player or ineligible player.
Mm-hmm.
It has still not happened.
Mm-hmm.
The reality of it is that until it happens, the feel around the games that are coming up is still different.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go into the game playing as if South Africa haven't been docked the points.
Yes.
But if they have been officially docked the points, it changes the way you look at the table. It changes everything.
Mm-hmm.
Smilai, what do you know about the situation? Why is it taking FIFA so long to come to a decision? Initially, we said, okay, yes, we have to give them time to investigate, give them time to hear South Africa's response, but it has now gone on for so long. What's going on here?
I just think that now that Straw is talking, I think we also need to give FIFA to more pressure and they should talk.
Hmm.
Because, FIFA disciplinary decisions comes out every 4 months. There was one that came out in March. That was the one that cleared the Uzue to play for Equatorial Guinea again.
Hmm.
Another one came out June 1, you know. So a lot of decisions to actually came out then. So, and I asked some few people questions that why June 1 is way after we played our qualifiers in March. Why is it not that FIFA will be able to give us decisions at that time? So,
Hmm.
because Lesotho did not submit the complaint 24 hours after the game. It was Nigeria, Benin Republic, and Rwanda, and also Lesotho that sent a letter to FIFA to tell them that Tebo Mokwena is ineligible to play that game. So, and I was following the investigation in South Africa with the briefing they're talking about. Their defense was that when they had the pre-match meeting with FIFA officials, the FIFA did not notify them before that game. That FIFA is like FIFA actually what set them up
Hmm.
for that. That is very complicated. But still, IoT, this thing. The rule is the rule. The rule is the rule. I can't come and say that I want to play the league player now. So okay, give me a fine. Why I would do that? I will go and bring Ronaldo and play for Nigeria. I will go and bring Messi and play for Nigeria.
Hmm.
And you find me, don't worry, I don't win the game.
Hmm.
It's like I bought that game. So FIFA must come out. I don't know the reason why. And you have explained before too that if you are going to a game, you know that you are just 3 points behind the host. You'll be motivated to do better and see
Yeah.
if probably you can actually get points. But if you are still 6 points away, you know that nothing. So for me, I just think I support getting through that FIFA should come out. If at this week, next week, we should put more pressure on them. They should come out and announce their decision because the whole world is waiting, IoT. And I'm happy that Kenneth Roy is talking. We're going to talk more about it in Nigeria too. Let's put pressure on FIFA and let's FIFA actually want to come and say all these things.
Hmm.
This
Yeah,
is it.
I really would like them to make a decision. Let the table take shape the way it is supposed to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
not. It's not until the season, not the season. It's not until it's 2 games to go. Then
Mm-hmm.
you now start to announce these things, and then everybody now starts to scramble. Let us know, even for South Africa's sake, because if they get docked the points now, the way they would even mentally approach their upcoming matches in September would
Mm-hmm.
be different. They know that okay, now they are chasing, so they need to put more pressure into the games that they are playing. It
Mm-hmm.
just changes both psychologically, mentally, physically, the way you approach the game, it changes, and of course, it changes the table itself,
Mm-hmm.
which is the most important thing. So I don't know who needs to do what. I don't know. Maybe we need to call our guy Amaju Pinnick to help us talk to Yanni,
Mm.
or whoever is on the um, decision making, the judiciary of FIFA. But
FIFA.
they need to say something. They need to take this decision. Like we know, South Africa broke the rule,
Yes.
so they are going to get punished.
Mm-hmm.
If they are going to get punished, why are we now taking so long to metal the punishment? Like, let's just punish them now. Everybody moves on. South Africa can move on. Everybody can know what the situation is. Let's see what happens, Sha. Maybe in the next week, in the next 2 weeks before the games, they will say something. But I think that considering what is only how many games left in
Four
the
games left.
4 games left,
Uh-huh.
is it now for the final 2 matches that you now all of a sudden tell South Africa that they are losing 3 points? It seems a little bit short notice, especially if you've had time
Yes.
before the game.
Yes.
But so yeah, I'm hoping to see something or to hear a decision in the next few minutes, and not minutes, days,
Yeah.
or weeks.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that on South Africa and FIFA. We hope that it goes well. Super Falcons of Nigeria remained 36th in the world in the latest FIFA Women's World Rankings. We're still the top team in Africa, but after our WAFCON triumph, unfortunately, that did not help us to climb in the FIFA Women's World Rankings. South Africa, Morocco, Zambia, and Cameroon make up the rest of Africa's top five. Now, this was a very interesting one because I saw comments on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere. People saying, "Hey, they are racist. Oh, they are this. They don't like Africa. Why are we 36? Are there actually 35 teams in the world that are better than Super Falcons?" A lot of people were talking, but I found it interesting because while I would agree with anybody that says that they don't think that there are 35 teams better than the Super Falcons,
Mm-hmm.
we also need to understand how the rankings work.
Mm-hmm.
Winning the WAFCON is not just going to balloon you to 10th in the world or to
Mm-hmm.
15th in the world. The
Mm-hmm.
ranking is a points based system.
Mm-hmm.
It is not something that you can even quote unquote criticize FIFA for
Mm-hmm.
because it is based on numbers, it is based on data, it is based on points. You
Mm-hmm.
win a game, you gain a certain number of points. You lose a game, you lose a certain number of points. You draw a game, you get a certain number of points. The points also, the number of points you gain, lose, draw, also depend on the opponent and the ranking of the opponents that you face. And something that Nigerian fans should try to understand is that yes, we won the WAFCON, but every team that we beat at the WAFCON is a team that is significantly lower than us already on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Even the team that we beat in the final, Morocco, they are 64th, while we are 36th. The team we beat in the this thing in the um second knockout round, South Africa. Who did we beat? Sorry, in the second knockout round.
Zambia.
No, we played Zambia in the round of 16.
Yeah. East Africa.
South Africa. So
Yeah.
Zambia that we played in round of 16, they are 65th. South
Mm-hmm.
Africa that we beat in the semi-final, they are 54th.
Mm-hmm.
So the best team that we beat is a team that is 18 spots below us.
Mm-hmm.
Beating a team that is 18 spots below you, unfortunately, is not going to push you up the table.
Yeah.
It's not going to. The WAFCON has counted because the latest update was this month. The WAFCON has counted, but we're beating teams that are far below us in the table. So it is not going to do so much for our world ranking. If you really want to climb in the world ranking, you have to beat teams that are above you in the
Mm-hmm.
table.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we are not really playing against those teams. And the times that we have faced those teams, we haven't beaten them. If you guys remember, after the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup, we rose in the ranking then because we drew against England, we beat Australia, we drew against Canada. So we did rise in the ranking.
Mm-hmm.
But this time we did not. Somebody said, so why is North Korea 10th? Because North Korea have previous results that push them up and then they continue to be steady Eddie in their region.
Mm-hmm.
They continue to be steady in their region. If you are a newbie to women's football, then you're probably looking at North Korea and saying, what do they play in North Korea? They don't play football in North Korea. But the reality of it is that they have played a lot of games and done well in the past, and then they are still very, very comfortable beating teams in their region.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not going to just drop. It's unless the teams that are below them can beat the teams that are above them and then can push up.
Mm-hmm.
It's all a points-based system. It's the same way it works on the men's side as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the men's side, you would say that there are some teams there that you think that the Super Eagles will beat.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, I might tell you that I think the Super Eagles will beat Canada,
Yes.
but Canada is ranked above us. I can
Mm-hmm.
even say, oh, I think that we'll beat the USA,
Mm-hmm.
but the USA is ranked above us. And there are other teams that are on the men's side. It's all a points-based system. And then, of course, on the men's side, drawing against Zimbabwe and all the other nonsense that we've been doing definitely does not help with their ranking. So it's something to just note. You know, historical precedents help you get to a certain point, and then the results just continue like that. So
Uh,
people should not be insulting FIFA or saying that FIFA is racist or anything like that.
yeah.
It's more complex than that. You want to say something, Sublime?
Yeah, but looking at a team like New Zealand, for example, when we handled New Zealand, it was 3-0. Remember
Yeah, I
that
remember.
3-0 teams like Wales, teams like Wales, like Ukraine. I don't know if Ukraine won with national team. They have Serbia. So I looked at those teams. I was like, what are the results they are getting? What is New Zealand getting results that is keeping them there? Which team are they beating? Which team is Ukraine beating? Which team is Serbia beating? That is keeping them there. You know, the highest rank, our highest ranking was actually what was 23rd in the world.
Hmm.
And these teams, some of them have not even been to the World Cup before.
Hmm.
So that's why some people will ask questions here. That why is it like this? This Falcon ranking, if I believe Super Eagles ranking, that during AFCON, we were 20 something, was it not? After AFCON, second piece of AFCON, we went to 20 something now. But these people is like you are using spoon to fill the reservoir. This Falcons ranking. Next year is good.
See, it's because we play in Africa. The people that will be beaten are all teams that are very lowly ranked, and then that doesn't count too much for us going forward. For example, you mentioned Ukraine. Ukraine in their Nations League, they beat Albania, they drew against Czech, they beat Croatia. You might not think that that should be enough to make them be better than Nigeria, but when you look at the ranking of those other teams as well, they are better than even the South Africa or the Moroccos that Nigeria are beating at our toughest opposition. When you look at a team like you mentioned, I think you said, who are these people beating? Serbia, all these
New
New Zealand.
Zealand.
New Zealand beat Venezuela in June. They beat Costa Rica in February. If you look at the women's world ranking, Venezuela is ranked 46th, still better than the second best team in Africa. Costa Rica is ranked 43rd, still better than the second best team in Africa. So it's going to get them more points for beating those guys than what Nigeria is going to get for beating Botswana, that is 100 and something. So it's not a clear reflection of who can beat who. That's the reality. I think that Nigeria is better, and Nigeria will beat most of these teams that are ranked above us. I think so. But I just think that in order to climb up these rankings themselves, we need to be playing and we need to be beating the biggest teams in the world. And the biggest teams in the world are not in Africa. Maybe we need to be strategic about it, and we need to start organizing friendly. We look at who is above us on that ranking that we know we can beat, and now organize friendly against them.
Italy.
So now we can call Italy, we can call Iceland, we can call, let me see, Belgium, and see that those are our next rankings.
China.
China. We should be able to beat China. We should be able to
We
beat
will
China.
be China.
We should be able to beat China.
China,
But
Iceland.
at the same time, look, Portugal that we just played are ranked 23rd. And we saw how we played against Portugal. Yes, there were issues in that game in terms of some of the players had to play match the same day that they arrived in
Mm-hmm.
camp, and things like that. But we played against Portugal. They outplayed us.
Mm-hmm.
It was a goalless draw, but they outplayed us. Portugal at 23. So it's a tricky one, man. It's a tricky one.
We can start by playing Russia again, At least,
Yeah, but I think we can definitely take on Iceland. We
Mhm.
can take on Belgium.
Argentina.
I don't rate the Belgian team.
Mm.
We can start with those ones. We can, so that at least
Scotland.
we can start climbing small, 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 small
Mhm.
before we now start saying, oh yeah, France come, oh yeah, Brazil come. Those
Yeah.
ones.
Let's go and play Commonwealth first with Wales and Scotland.
Abby, because
Uh-huh.
Wales, who plays for Wales?
Who plays of Wales? Wales and Scotland. Let's go and beat them first. At least. So we can.
Scotland. I mean, I know that my the one Scottish player I like is my Chelsea girl, Erin Cuthbert.
Mhm.
Fantastic player, but I don't know who the other Scottish women's players are. Let me look at their squad quickly. Yeah, most of their players play in Scotland, so I don't really watch. Samantha Kay
But
of Liverpool is
uh,
there.
uh,
The Real Madrid girl, Caroline Ware. Uh, yeah, nothing fantastic about this team. Is Cuthbert is their star. You
so
know,
Emery said something about how did Canada rise playing Guyana, and Bahamas. These are the people that they are playing in their Nations League. How come that
Canada
Canada?
didn't rise. Canada dropped.
Now, he said that why is Canada in that position?
Olympic champions now. The Canada Olympic champions, have gotten good results. Of course, Canada will be ranked highly, but they dropped in this window because
Mm-hmm.
this window they lost 3-0 against USA and they beat Costa Rica, but they still dropped in the window. They still dropped in this current window.
For me,
Japan dropped in this current window as well because they had two draws against China and Korea. Brazil dropped in the window, despite the fact that they won the Copa America.
mhm.
They
I
still
think
dropped in the window.
I think we can have a good game against these teams, even in the top half. But let's wait and see.
Mm. Okay, somebody said we can beat all except the top nine. We just played. You know what I said, that we just played against 23. We know beats them, oh. But I love the confidence. Even I think that we can beat some of those
Mhm.
teams. It's all about, we need to be strategic. Right now we always go to the highest bidder, but maybe we need to be more strategic about who we face.
Mhm.
To help us to be able to climb up the rankings. Because all them Finland, come on now, Switzerland.
Mhm.
These are teams that we should be beating comfortably,
Yeah.
fairly comfortably.
When we play Australia, when we play Austria, I mean when we play Algeria, in the Kenya. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. But moving forward, still talking about the Super Falcons of Nigeria, man. Let's give a shout out to Coach Justin Madugu and goalkeeper Chiamaka Onadozie. Ballon d'Or nominations for the Nigerian duo. Chiamaka Onadozie has been nominated for the Goalkeeper of the Year award. I am so happy to see Chiamaka receiving a nod like this because you guys know I've been talking about how she's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. But for whatever reason, she hasn't been getting that recognition. They'll be nominating Barcelona sub goalkeeper, Man U, this thing, and they wouldn't put her in the picture. Now she is clearly in the picture. And then Justin Madugu, boy, what a tournament can do for you. Winning the WAFCON and is nominated for the Best Women's Coach of the Year award. Smilai, let's start with Chamaka. How do you feel about this nomination? Do you think she has a chance of winning this trophy?
It's difficult. It's difficult because these the girls the ladies you see there, they are the best of the best in what football. And I don't know, maybe there's one girl called Vega, of Germany, fantastic goalkeeper. You also have Hamilton too of England. So for her to be part of this top five best goalkeepers, it's even a big achievement on its own. So I'm happy for her. I hope that she wins, but I think it's highly unlikely for her to win. But for her to be part of this top five, is top notch. IoT, it has never happened in the history of Nigeria before that a goalkeeper will be nominated for Ballon d'Or. A Nigerian goalkeeper, both men and female. It has never happened before. And this game might go the history book as the best goalkeeper, male and female, in the history of Nigerian football.
Mm.
It's getting to that IoT.
Mm.
It's getting to that IoT. So for me, I'm really actually what happy about. I don't know if you want to ask me about Osimhen the good goat, because man the goat.
No, we'll talk about him. I just want to say massive congratulations to Chiamaka Nnadozie. She's a person that I like so much. Humble girl, just works hard, just does her thing, and I'm happy to see her being nominated for an award like this. I'm happy that she's getting recognition, globally. Like you said, she could very much go down as the best ever Nigerian goalkeeper, whether it be male or female, in terms of achievements. And I'm happy that she won the trophy last year to back it up. She has won the WAFCON as well to add to her crown. And the future is just so bright. When I'm looking forward to watching her this season playing for Brighton, there's so much that I'm expecting from Chiamaka, and I'm hoping that she continues to show herself and continues to be a star. Now that she's playing in England, if she continues to do as well as she's been doing individually, it's an avenue for her to win even more awards and to be more globally recognized. Do I think she's going to win? No, unfortunately, because I think that my own luck to win this award is probably going to be Hannah Hampton of Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Had a fantastic year. Chelsea and England, she had a fantastic year. She won treble with Chelsea. She went and won the Euros, and she was very instrumental in England winning the Euros as well. I just think that she's going to rise above it all. AKB and Country Berger, former Chelsea goalkeeper as well, but I don't think she's going to be there. We have Katakol of Barcelona, and we have Van
Mm-hmm.
Domsela. Maybe Chiamaka, in my opinion, finishes third in this. She might not because the European bias, but I'll probably put Chiamaka third in my voting. But I love her so much. I'm happy to see her here. Being amongst the best 5 women's goalkeepers in the world is a big achievement. Is a very, very, very big achievement. And I'm really happy for her. I'm honestly very, very happy for her. And for the Coach Justin Madugu Smilai, Madugu, has a Nigerian coach been nominated for Ballon d'Or before?
No, no.
Hmm.
That's not sure what happened before too, and I think just the Pamanduku for him to be nominated for this award is actually what is massive for him, and it's
Hmm.
a big achievement for him. Now you know. Now you know. If you know, you know. So I don't want to, but for me, I'm happy for him. But he keep on getting this recommendation, and this actually what it fits him. It fits him. IoT. I don't know. Maybe you want to say some few things about him, but but I think I'm happy for him that he got his nomination. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna win it, but for his name to be there, it's a big thing. So that means that he's gonna win the best coach in Africa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's probably going to win the best African women's coach. I'm happy for him because this is a relatively unknown coach that is now coming, and a fantastic performance for his team at the WAFCON, and is earning him a lot of plaudits. I've been critical of him in the past. My honest feeling is that I still don't think that he's a top coach, honestly.
Ah,
But he won, and when you win,
everything.
you have all the bragging rights.
Yeah.
Can as well request to join this live and tell me to shut up because he won. So what am I talking about? And I'm somebody that I've always held the opinion that if you know things and you're not willing to tell us those things, then shut up and stop telling us that you know things. And I find myself in that situation. I know
Mhm.
things that make me doubt him, but unfortunately, I'm not able to tell you guys those things. So I'm going to take my own advice and
What?
I'm just going to shut up.
So you want to swallow those things at your teeth? Why can't you?
Because I mean, I was told some things in confidence, and I cannot breach the confidence and come and say it in public. Because
Yeah.
if the person that told me hears it, they're going to know that, oh, I said what I wasn't supposed to say.
Uh-huh.
But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
when a coach loses, the coach gets the brunt of all the blame, regardless of why he lost. Look at
Yeah.
Coach Randy Waldrum. He lost in the semi-final of the last WAFCON. 2 red cards that were. It's not as if he told Rashid and Ayinde to go and collect red card. 2 red cards, lost on penalties. Till today, people say that that's the reason why he's not a good coach because he could not win the WAFCON. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but this guy, regardless of what happened, he won.
Mm-hmm.
He won. So
Mm.
whether it was his influence or it was not his influence, he won the match. And if he lost, he would have taken the blame. He won, so he's going to take the credit. And
Mm.
I'm going to wish him all the best. I'm going to support him until he does something that allows me to come out and criticize him. Again, I know things that I can't say, so I'm just going to swallow it. I'm going to shut up and I'm going to celebrate him. Coach Justin Madugu, congratulations, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the red carpet in France,
Yeah, yeah.
celebrating the biggest
With
award.
that suit, though.
With this with his suit, his waistcoat or whatever I was to wear. I'm looking forward to it, man. Unfortunately, none of our male players are nominated for this year's Ballon d'Or, despite our 40 something goals in Turkey. Uh, they did not they did not include
that
us.
that one counts for nothing.
They did not include us. But yes, wishing Chamaka and Justin Madugu all the best. Olu, you want me to keep talking, but
Hey,
I'm not going
don't
to.
talk.
I'm
Don't
not. I'm
answer.
not going to keep talking
He wants you
because
to say what you know. Don't
your
answer.
comments are not even accompanied by super chat,
Like
so
super chats.
it's hard for me to acknowledge
If
them
you
right now.
want him to say, give you hint, go and bring $1,000 super chats.
Yes,
He will
but
talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to our people, man. I love when Nigerians are doing well. I love when Nigerians are being nominated, are being acknowledged. So I wish them all the very best. Okay, let's keep it going very, very, very quickly. Very quickly. I don't want us to run too long today. Smilai, as some Super Falcons have been celebrated, some
Mm-hmm.
other Super Falcons have come out and have asked for their own celebration.
Mm-hmm.
The ex Super Falcons, former Super Falcons. I saw a video from Patience Avre. I saw some comments that were attributed to Kikelomo Ajayi.
Mm-hmm.
They are saying that, yes, so you are celebrating the girls that won the 10th WAFCON title. But what about us that won the first nine? What
Before.
about us that won five in a row? What
Mm-hmm.
about us that set the standard, that laid the foundation? Patience said we are the mothers of this team. We are the ones that gave birth to the couple of players that we are seeing now. And they
Mm-hmm.
are asking for President Tinubu to also do something for them.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about many of them being in bad situations financially, not being able to survive. So, like, how do you feel about this? Do you think that they have a right to come out and be demanding for some kind of recognition,
Mm-hmm.
or are their comments unfounded and out of place?
Yeah. So I don't know. Before you, I don't know if you took the super chat for Henry Junior. You sent the super chat. I don't know if you took the comment before he sent. I think it was. I think we are talking when he sent it. I don't know if you took it.
Okay, thank you, Henry, but he didn't leave any comments. He just left a super sticker.
Just but you get one comment, but I think we'll talk about it when we're discussing
Okay.
that. Yeah. So about them, you know, like there was 9 before 10. Without previous 9, there will not be Vision X. We understand that. But you should understand that time is everything. I've never seen a Nigerian president the world athletes like this before. I've never. So those that saying they want fall, they should go and meet Goodluck Jonathan. And because let me tell you something, there's no way you can reward from the first to 9. You are rewarding about up to like three, how many players? Maybe probably like up to more than 100 players. It's not possible. This is actually what you want the talent squad. No, you have to give them their flowers. They are just fortunate to meet this president. How is it? If it's the usual presidential handshake, will Gigalamo Ajayi come out and say that, okay, we want our handshakes too? No,
Mm.
it's because of the moolah, of the money involved. That's the reason why they're talking about all these things. So, in my own opinion, they should just rest. They just rest. Just quietly, these girls, at least they started the job, though these guys would completed the job. So, just appreciate them and wish them best of luck. That is my take on that. And what I was even thinking is that maybe the guests that were giving $100,000 they could contribute for those that were dropped in camp leading to the WAFCON tournaments. That's my opinion. If they're going to help anybody, those that were dropped that were part of this team, players like Monday Gift, players like they were really part of the team that were dropped towards the end. Maybe probably they can actually give them, contribute to them. I know that used to do it in the past, But for those that have been saying Mitchell, they won 4 in a row, they should leave those ones. If they are owing them any bonus, they should pay them. But for coming for that handshake again and trying to reward them, I think their time don't pass.
I'll start by responding to what you said about the Super Falcons contributing to those that were dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have first-hand information, I will tell you this. It is something that the players are doing. The players already met and decided that, like you mentioned, the players like Gift Monday, other players that played in the qualifiers, but did not make it to the tournament. The players have already discussed and said that they would contribute and give them. I will even tell you this. Now, forgive me if I'm not supposed to say this, talking to the Super Falcons players. The Super Falcons players had even discussed and were planning to contribute and give to Ex-Falcons.
Hmm.
It's something that I know that they've spoken about and they want to do. To give to Ex-Falcons. Probably the Ex-Falcons are not aware that this was something that was being planned. Now, as far as the Ex-Falcons coming out to ask for recognition and reward, like you said, it's all about the money. They are seeing people collecting money and they are saying, wow, what of me? For me, if there's anybody that they should hold for recognition, it should be the NFF. Let the NFF build statue of you. Let the NFF come out and reward you, etc. But the reality of it is that President Tinubu doesn't have any obligation to them.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. You set the bar. You laid the foundation. But timing is everything. It is like, imagine maybe Patrick Vieira will come and say, during my time, I was one of the best Arsenal players ever. How can Declan Rice be collecting more money than me? Oh yeah, Arsenal, come and pay me the money that you did not pay me. During your time, if the average salary was 20K and that's what you were making, you were a top earner. If now somebody's collecting 200K as a top earner, is because of the times that have changed. So for me, I just look at it that at the time that they were playing, unfortunately, women's football was very small, especially in Nigeria. It wasn't being appreciated like this. It wasn't being rewarded like this. And while it is sad, it is just what happened at the time. If anybody should acknowledge and honor them, it should be the NFF. Now, if the president chooses to do something out of the glory of his heart and out of the taxpayer money, fine. It's within the government's jurisdiction to do what they want to do. But I don't think that there's any obligation. I understand that it is a demand, or it is demands that are being made out of desperation and out of lack. And it's rather unfortunate. It is very sad that it's come down to this. But I just think that they are not owed anything from the presidency, unless the presidency made promises that were not granted. If maybe previous presidents made promises that were not granted, I can understand the sentiment behind saying, okay, the current administration, you can kind of fulfill those promises that previous administrations made. I can understand it. But if there were no promises and you are simply just saying, all I got was handshake, but now somebody's getting money, so me too, I want money, then I would say you're not owed anything. You're not owed anything. Football was very different back then. Today, it's a different thing entirely. The money that people were getting 20 years ago, 10 years ago, is nothing close to the money that people are getting now. It's just the nature of how the sport has grown and how life has changed. Or should our parents go and say that in their time when they were working their jobs, they were only getting paid 500 naira a month? That, now they should come and pay them millions, because millions is how much people are getting paid for the same job today. Times have changed. Things have changed. So I saw the videos, I saw the comments. I felt it was sad that they're so desperate for this reward because of their personal situations. And I mean, I do pray that the government decides to do something small for them, even if it's 5,000. But again, it creates that issue of, okay, who exactly do you reward? how many ex-Falcons do you reward? Where do you cut it off? Do you say every living player that has ever played for Super Falcons before should come and collect reward? Like how do you actually make it make sense? Okay, would they say if you had only 20 plus caps, so if I played 5 caps, I don't get my reward? But it's like there's so many complications that come with it. Um, but yes, I know that the players of the current team had spoken about donating and giving something to the Super Falcons legends and the players of the past. But even when they were discussing this, it's similar questions that came up. When you say Super Falcons of the past, where do you end it? Do you include a Desire Paranozie, who played at the 2023 Women's World Cup and also got a sizable bonus for playing in that tournament? Do you not include her? Do you include those that played in 92? Do you include those that played in the 80s? It's so tricky. There's so many people, there's so many variables. But we have to wait and see what happens. We have to wait and see what happens. I just think that they have no rights to any money. But if they do get the money, good for them. Good for them. Nigeria were in such a desperate situation. A lot of people that President Tinubu opened the Pandora's box, and now everybody that does anything in Nigeria now feels that they must get some cash incentive and some cash reward for doing anything. And it's a very tricky one. It's a very tricky one. It's a very tricky one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, whoever the next president is can reward the next set of players.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
the only ones that I feel for, because I can't lie, if not me, if I was part of the team maybe this year, but they just did not pick me for WAFCON, now that one go pay me.
Yes.
Now that one go pay me. If I was part of the team and they drop me for the tournament, now that one go pay me. You look at a player like Chioma Okafor, we never even play one match. She
Yeah.
said don't collect ON, don't collect
Everything.
100,000. But did she actually even do anything compared to somebody that did everything? It's tricky. And Give Monday has been so unlucky, just missing out on tournament after tournament. It's a tricky one, man. But yeah, such is life sometimes. Like that's why they say this life is not fair. All fingers are not equal. Life no balance. Whatever analogy you want to use, it's just kind of how it happens. It's just kind of how it happens. Okay, we're into the final part of today's program. We'll go very quickly. We have 30 minutes and then we'll call it the end of today's show. Let's talk about Sunday Oliseh, former Super Eagles captain and coach. He recently made comments on his YouTube channel. I saw that he started a new podcast. Sunday Oliseh, if you are watching, or if anybody from his team is watching, hit me up, man. Let's help you to produce that podcast better. Because I saw the video, I saw the editing, I saw and I was like, no, this can be and should be better done, especially for a prestigious person like you, Mr. Sunday Oliseh. So please, no shade to you. Hit me up, send me a message. Let's see how we can work together, and make it better. It'll be a delight to do something like that. But yes, he made some comments on Nigeria's biggest player, Victor James Osimhen, about his move to Galatasaray, about his failed move to the English Premier League. And he spoke about some things that are interesting touch points, and I want us to discuss today. So I'm going to play a couple videos, and Smidlai, I want us to take our comments or give our comments based on the videos and what he said.
So in reality, if you multiply it by 4, you're coming to 112 million euros.
In total package.
112 million plus 75 million gets you 187 million. So this has been a major problem for clubs in trying to acquire Osimhen. As a club, when you want to buy a player, you discuss the player's wages, you discuss maintenance, you discuss the character. When you look at all this together as a package, the club will ask themselves, will this player be worth it for us? Is it not too much of a risk compared to the other players we have? And I think that has not played very well in Victor's favor.
So Smidlai, Sunday Oliseh is saying that the cost of Victor Osimhen's total package comes to 187 million, transfer fee plus salary for 4 years, and that the clubs will probably look at it and say, is it worth it for this player? And maybe that's why they did not want to sign him. Do you think that Victor Osimhen is worth 187 million euros today?
You know, I know that a lot of people are emotional about this thing, and we have to be honest with ourselves, and be realistic. You know, if you are paying less for 187 million, it might take Victor Osimhen time for him to adapt well to the Premier League. Let's be honest ourselves. Andrew Shevchenko was scoring like no man's business when he was in AC Milan. And now Crespo did so well in AC Milan. But when he got to the Premier League, he didn't perform well. It could happen for Victor straight away. It happened for Didier Drogba. He came in and he did well. So, but it's just that some of these clubs now, they are so tight. They don't want to take risk. And if you look at it now, Victor Osimhen is 27 or 26, I don't know. He's 26 or 27 now. If you remember your club, Chelsea, when they sign a player, they will give a player 10 years contract. And I remember Madueke was on a 9-year contract and Jackson was on a 10-year contract. That's how they extend. They just do it that way. I think the reason why you're doing that is just to escape this dreaded financial fair play, rule, so that they spread the cost along 10 years, and
Yeah.
it's going to be easier for them to actually want to balance. Can you give to Victor Osimhen 10 years contract? Can you give Victor Osimhen 10 years contract? So if Victor Osimhen is 27 now, give him 10 years contract, it's going to be 37. So, all these things you have to consider it very well before you make that final decision. Is his football worth it? Yes. I know Victor will give you a solid 2 or 3 years. Yes. Is Victor very good? Yes. Is Victor a fighter? Yes. But apart from what Victor will give you now, you have to also look at what you want to invest it on. Do you think Victor can have like a resale? Can you sell Victor the way they're trying to sell Jackson? Is it possible to sell Victor at that age? Are you going to make profit on Victor? That one is debatable. So there's a lot of things to it. Why I still think that if some clubs can still look for a way around this issue and get Victor Osimhen, but they decide not to get him.
To answer my own question,
Mm-hmm.
do I think Victor Osimhen is worth 197 million? It's tough. It's really, really tough. It's really, really tough. And I know that when I say things like this, some people think that I'm a hater, but I'm the biggest Osimhen lover. Osimhen has only had 2 seasons in his career that he scored up to 20 goals. And one of them was last season in Turkey. He scored 37 goals in Turkey. But considering the fact that it's Turkey, 37 goals in Turkey, it comes down to like 19 goals in in mainstream Europe. So yes, I know he crossed 20 by far, but is he actually a solid, reputable 20? Um, it's hard. It's hard. You already referred to his age. Osimhen is not old, but he's 26, and in 4 years he'll be 30. Is he still going to have resale value at 30 years old? Hard to know. The players that are getting these kinds of big monies being paid and put for them are mostly young players. United Sam Benjamin Sesko is 22 years old. It's mostly players that have done it for long. Yes, Arsenal signed Victor Gyökeres, who is 27 years old, but to a much smaller financial package than Victor Osimhen would have cost. So teams are really looking at this differently. And like Sunday Oliseh rightly broke down, the costs, the wages for all the things that come with Victor Osimhen, injuries, AFCON, behavior, and any other thing that they might factor in, might be a little bit of a thing that pushes people away. I think that Osimhen is worth his transfer value. I do think so. I stumble to say that Osimhen is worth the wages that he demands. And I know people will come and tell me, oh, but he's a Ballon d'Or nominee, but is this, but is that. He is one Ballon d'Or nominee, one African Player of the Year. How many does Mo Salah have? But Osimhen is asking for more than Mo Salah. And somebody will say, oh, don't talk about like a Nigerian player like that. Oh, this one, that one. Oh, why aren't we supporting our own? I just like to come at things from a realistic point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Before Salah got to the wages that he's on now, he had won how many multiple golden boots in the Premier League, how many times the player of the season, spent how many years at Liverpool, won multiple player of the years, did so much to earn this. Osimhen has had 2 good seasons in his entire career, or 2 top seasons in his entire career at 27. It's hard to justify the money that he's asking for, especially when you consider the other things that he comes with. That's how I feel about that.
So in reality, if you multiply it by 4,
let's take another comment from Sunday Oliseh.
What I know what played really, really hugely against Victor in the recently was the rant against Finidi George.
Yeah.
Because it's not because of the person, Finidi George. It's the fact that the rant came against somebody who's holding a very high position, national team. And in fact, I was at Qatar not too long ago, and I traveled, and somebody even insinuated to that again. Because he's a player you love to have, but they're thinking, how do you manage such a player if you pay him all that money and that explodes in your team after I invested all that? So all that has really, really played against the man. And managers will be trying to get a player that they can afford to, combine with other characters in the team. Will he fit into the team? I think that's not playing well.
Bismillah.
Yeah.
Sunday Oliseh is saying that Victor Osimhen's rant against Finidi George has potentially come back to haunt him. I'm someone in the past that I've said I do not think his comment against Finidi George would affect him at club level.
Mm-hmm.
But Sunday Oliseh is saying that he also spoke to people, and this is something that they alluded to and insinuated. Do you think that rant against Finidi George has had more impact than we expected in terms of Osimhen's future?
Yes. I love Osimhen so much. And those here, I love Victor. You yourself know I love Victor Osimhen. I love Victor Osimhen so much. I like him. I like a player that is fully committed to the Nigerian national team. But we have to say the truth here. This is no Osba. That thing affected Victor. We have to be honest ourselves. See, somebody might be watching here. I was privileged to want information that one club in England, before they let go of their manager, what's it called? This is their sporting director. You guys can get about that club. They wanted to sign Victor Osimhen, but they were in 50-50 about his character. But when that rant came, they just said no. And the coach that is handling that club in England is a baby coach. He doesn't like ego. You know that coach player I'm talking about. He's a baby coach. If you have ego, he don't send you away. So I think that was what he told me, that he decided not to continue with him. I don't know, maybe he's privileged to this information, but that was what they decided internally, that they will not continue with that because of the type of team that they are trying to build. So any rumor linking into that particular club in the Premier League, is just from the media. It's not them. And I keep on asking, I saw this news, that person tell me, oh no, nah. They did not, they are not signing. They are not. Even when it was a cheaper option in January, they are not. When their top striker got injured, they are not. So I think it affected him. And IoT, football is a team sport. You know how difficult it is for you to manage a player that you know you need extra help. You know, is tough. And you mentioned something that all managers like to have a lovely airport, going to weekends, want to enjoy themselves. Nobody wants to say they want to grow gray hair quickly, like what Jose Mourinho said in the Obi-Wan podcast, that the gray hair on this side is from the Sana Diarra.
Mm.
And one on the front is from BBK and his agent. So it's just like that. People want to have like a good dressing room. If you have average talent and a good dressing room, it's gonna be good. Now look at Lewandowski, you know, top player, settled dressing room, So that I think everyone affected him, but just that some of these clubs are scared of what might come out from Victor, but it's just unfortunate that affected him. I agree.
Mm. It's unfortunate. I really thought it wouldn't have an impact,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks like it has had a bigger impact than I was
Mm-hmm.
expecting. Somebody said, "How are we sure that Oliseh is not making it up?" How are we sure of anything? If that's the question, how are we sure of anything? I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that Sunday Oliseh has any reason to come and make up stories just to give
Mm-hmm.
us podcast or information about Victor Osimhen. And if we doubt Oliseh, we might as well doubt everything. How are we sure of the things we hear from Osimhen's camp? How are we sure of anything in football? I
Mm-hmm.
understand that a lot of people like Victor Osimhen, and it is not what we want to hear about Victor Osimhen. But it doesn't suddenly mean that we should start questioning other people's integrity,
Mm-hmm.
because they are saying things that we don't like to hear. And we've seen certain things that are facts, like the rant. We all saw it. It made sure we saw it. And I remember speaking about it at the time. People called me a hater too because I said I thought it was wrong and he shouldn't be speaking out like that about his coach, regardless of what the coach did. I said I didn't think it was right. And it's unfortunate that things like this are coming back to haunt him. Turkey wanting him does not mean that, oh, well, somebody still wants him. Other people are supposed to want him as well. Turkey is a lower league. They are more desperate. They have a bigger chunk of their money that they can spend on him because their whole team is not getting paid crazy amount of money. But when you go to like an England where maybe the least player on the team is collecting maybe 100K, and then the people that are less than that are the youth boys and the ones that are just coming up. It's different. When you're coming to bring a player like that to be your highest paid, breaking transfer, breaking your wage structure, making him one of the highest paid players in the league, is a much different level of analysis that you put into it than Turkey, Galatasaray signing Victor Osimhen, that is by far the most valuable player in their country. Very, very, very different. But yes, let me quickly take a super chat comment here from Uchechuku. He says, it is a bitter pill to swallow. He didn't have a good response to the Finidi issue, and it all boils down to management and branding. Yeah, yeah, it's a bitter pill to swallow. And when things like this, when our players start getting bad names, bad reputation. I know Smith last week you mentioned other players like Suarez, like Balotelli, but I look at it that things are looked at a lot differently in today's world. The world has become a lot more, uh, you know, less tolerant to a lot of these things and a lot of these behaviors and activities. Even some of the worst things that I'm not necessarily comparing to what Victor Osimhen did that other players have done. A few years ago, if it happened, a player can get away with it. But if it happens in today's world, it's treated a lot differently. I remember how they reacted, how Liverpool treated Suarez' situation with Patrice Evra. They almost made it look as if Luis Suarez was the victim in that situation. If something like that happens in today's world, Liverpool dare not come out and publicly support him like that because people will look at it differently. Look at only a few years ago how they wanted to ruin Konzuma because he kicked a cat.
Mm-hmm.
So the world and the way people have started looking at all these situations is very different. Especially with social media that can amplify things, that can bring up bad PR for these clubs, that can put pressure on clubs. It's harder for these things to happen. If you look at even a young player like our Nigerian boy, I want to use a Nigerian example of Aki Amo, the way his career has been derailed. If what he did, if it happened maybe in the early 2000s, he might have got away with it because the noise around it might not have been as much. It was, and it will just go somewhere else and life will
But
continue.
but but Eti Messi did it now. That was the end of his career. In 1980, I think 1989, 1989. So Eti Messi did, in fact, it was even worse than Amao because he ran away from
Well, I mean, all these things happen differently, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
never know. Okay,
yeah.
let's take another part of the comments that Sunday Oliseh made.
When a club is trying to buy a player, this is modern
Yeah.
football for you.
Yeah.
You are not bought now just because based on how good you are. You are bought now also because of how commercializable you can be, how
Yeah.
they can use your image rights,
Mm-hmm.
how children can buy into your brand. That
Yeah.
is very important. So if they're going to be spending, this is one of the reasons why the Premier League clubs did not buy Osimhen. If you're going to be buying a player, it's not only just him bringing results on the pitch, it's also the revenue he brings in off the pitch.
More like
And
fan base too.
exactly. And at the
Mm.
moment, Victor has a huge fan base back home
Yeah.
in Nigeria and in Africa.
Yeah.
But that is not where the dollars and the euros is coming in for the clubs. The
Mm.
money is coming for the clubs with your fan base you have in Europe, the fan base
Yeah.
you have in Asia, the fan base you have in the United States.
Yeah.
Imagine you have a fan base in India that is
Mm.
1.6 billion people. So
It's huge.
it's huge. All those things play into a player's
Yeah.
image. And at the moment, I think I saw an advertisement of Victor that is Osimhen that he did in Turkey.
Yeah.
Except for that, I've not really seen much from him. And this is
Mm.
why players like Ronaldo, Messi, even though they are still performing now on the pitch, they're still scoring goals, but
Yeah.
these players are still selling merchandise in hundreds of millions. So
Yeah.
they will
Yeah.
always have.
Hmm. So, Smilai, this is this is Sunday Oliseh talking about branding. Whenever the question of branding and marketability comes up, I have a smile on my face
Yeah.
because it's something that I've been championing for. He's talking about how Osimhen doesn't have that brand value that would also incentivize clubs to purchase him and to spend that kind of money on him. He referenced the fact that other than one advertisement, I think was for a car company that he did in Turkey, we haven't seen much from him. He has a huge fan base in Nigeria, but the dollars and the euros do not come from Nigeria. We've spoken about this in the past. How many people in Nigeria actually go and spend their money to buy a Victor Osimhen jersey? Even
Yeah.
down to a lot of the celebrities that have his jersey, Nain dash them. It's not as if they went and bought it. The
Mm-hmm.
ones that are buying the jersey, they are buying the jersey for 20,000 naira from one of the jersey vendors that gets their supply from China. The money doesn't go to the club in any capacity.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the Nigerian market, especially when it comes to football, is not a big market. Oh, BB Niger, oh, Nigerians spend. Guinness, drinks, all those alcohol, party, the Nigerians spend. Even movies, Nigerians spend. Football, Nigerians don't really spend money. I know so many players that constantly just have people in their DMs. Oh, can I buy? Can I get your jersey? If the player says, "Oh, go and buy," it's almost as if, "How do you want me to go and buy your jersey? You have to give it to me." So somebody is saying something that I honestly agree with, and I've spoken about before. Osimhen doesn't really have that commercialization. He doesn't have that brand value. He's popular. He's well known, even in not only Nigeria, in Europe, he's well known. But if Osimhen tells people to go and subscribe to something, will they? If Osimhen says people should go and buy something, will they? It's it's very, very hard for me to say yes, they would. You look at people like Cole Palmer, they've built their brand very quickly with intentional marketing, with
Mm-hmm.
intentional placement, with strategy. Look at people like Bukayo Saka, they've done that. Osimhen doesn't seem to be putting in that effort. In fact, in today's Nigerian ecosystem, even Wilfred Ndidi is putting more effort into his personal branding than Victor
Mm-hmm.
Osimhen. Osimhen is just, I'm rich. Look at my drip. That's his brand. You don't know anything else about Victor Osimhen.
He carries himself well too, you know.
Yeah, he presents a good image. But I always tell Nigerian people, Nigerian players, that it's a very thin line between showing off your lifestyle and being disconnected from Nigerians or from people. Because if you are only showing us lifestyle, you might say people like Benzema have done it in the past. But Benzema was also playing for the biggest football club in the world, Real Madrid, playing for France, one of the best national teams in the world, and was also doing stuff back home. Victor Osimhen now is playing for Nigeria, not one of the best national teams in the world, at least based on our performances and our results. He's now playing for one of the biggest teams in the world. To a lot of people, you are just this rich footballer. They don't know your personality like that. The things that they know about your personality are not positive things, unfortunately. Oh, he's stubborn. Oh, he doesn't take nonsense. Oh, this, that. You might think you don't care, but those are the things that we actually know. Does anybody here know what Osimhen likes to do for fun when he's not playing football? Do we actually know?
We know Boniface.
Boniface, at least we know.
Yes.
Even if we might not like Boniface, because he's not doing well right now. Obviously, he's looked at a little bit different. But if Boniface was playing like Osimhen, he would be more marketable than Victor Osimhen if he was performing at the same level. Unfortunately, he's not.
I agree.
You know, so for me, I'm always telling people you have to be intentional about being your brand. People will have to know and like other things about you. Boniface is a comedian, he's a gamer. You never know if he was playing well. PlayStation on free column say, okay, we want to use you for campaign. You know, it's possible. I always say people don't think things are possible until they happen. But Victor Osimhen is not particular about his brand, and I think it's something that he needs to work on. I agree with what Sunday Oliseh said. If a club is looking at Victor Osimhen, what are they going to gain from him other than his jerseys that I think will sell because of how good he is? He will sell a good number of jerseys. I don't doubt that. How do they use him in other, marketing activities and things like that? It's hard. As much as he's going to bring an audience from Nigeria, that audience from Nigeria does not spend money. It's different from signing Son Heung-min. You sign Son Heung-min, he comes with his South Korean audience, but those guys are going to spend money. You see South Koreans every week flying to London to go and watch Son play, buy his jersey, buy everything. They spend money. You buy an American, you know that the Americans will spend money to support their player. Nigerians wouldn't. They will fight for him on Twitter, but now there you go end. And just pray that even while they're fighting for him, pray that the fight is not against somebody from the club that they like. Because as much as they like Osimhen, if you bring Osimhen and you bring Saka, they will choose Saka.
They will choose Saka.
Your thoughts?
The funny thing is that you mentioned that people flying to go and watch him. If you see somebody flying to go and watch Victor Osimhen, he bought the ticket for
He paid for it.
We see, I don't want to mention the activists in Nigeria, you see all of them eating on the boat. He paid for them. It's not as if you see he paid for them. So in fact, you know that's why when you pause that area, say, oh, this is your angle. I allow you to have like everything there but the summary of it all is that these guys need to work on their brand, and this is what they will use when they are done with their career, and it's very important. But I want to ask you a question before we move on to the last part. Do you think Mikel Obi worked on his brand before when he was playing? Because he seems to be doing well now.
Mikel Obi did not particularly work on his brand. What helped him is that he played for one of the biggest teams in the world, and he won plenty trophies. Let's remember that Osimhen has only won one significant trophy in his career. I don't count those two trophies that he won. God forgive me, because me, I've not won. But I don't count those two.
Do you think that Victor Osimhen will, for example, now Victor's is getting views from when people are calling Victor, the High Performance podcast, the Rio Ferdinand podcast, the Gary Neville podcast is getting views. Do you think that Victor can also command that type of view if he's at the end of his career, if they call him for that type of thing? Do you think he can command those views, like those audience?
It depends on how his career goes and what is being discussed.
Well, as of now,
no. Because, well, it depends on what is being discussed. If you call Victor Osimhen in 10 years' time, and the topic of the conversation is how a move to Galatasaray derailed my career, it will get views. If the topic of conversation is how I became Nigeria's highest ever goal scorer, it will become views. But if you are calling Victor Osimhen to talk about, if the topic of conversation is how Napoli mistreated me and ruined my future, it will get views. But if you are calling him to give you a fantastic story of achievement and success, he's not going to have that story. He won one historical Scudetto, and then he went to Turkey. That's the story as of today. So it's going to be tricky. You know, you would rather call players that actually won significant trophies. You know, it's tough, man. It's tough. Mikel did not do much when he was playing, but he won a lot of trophies. He played with legendary players. That's why Mikel can literally just come and talk about his Chelsea teammates every single day, and people will
Who will
watch.
still watch?
He can just come and be talking about Drogba, Kalu,
Drogba,
Terry, Lampard,
Mourinho.
Mourinho. People will watch. Hazard, people will watch. So he was lucky in that sense. Who is the best player that Osimhen has played with?
For me, I think the best player Osimhen has played with, I think, is probably Mertens. Is it?
Dries Mertens.
Yes.
You see? How do we put that? Osimhen will come and be telling us stories about Mertens and about Leroy Sané and about Politano, or maybe Kvaratskhelia, because Kvaratskhelia is going to have a big career.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
it's tricky. It's tricky, man. It's tricky.
It's tricky.
Well, okay, because of time, let's move on quickly. I have one more video from Finidi George's conversation that we should talk about.
Sadly, when it comes to Victor Osimhen's transfer to Galatasaray, it is sad to say, but I feel he's gone to Galatasaray because the top Premiership clubs did not want him. Now, if they wanted to, they would have made that investment because he's made it clear that he wanted to go there. Even Drogba solicited for him. I've heard so many times John Obi Mikel tried to talk him up into it, but these clubs did not go for him, so they did not want him. Now, that does not mean they won't want him in the future, you know, but a lot depends on him. That it's kind of like sad to say, but I am very much afraid that we are living the beginning of the end for this player as regards playing at the top at a high level. Because if these clubs did not buy you now, what will make them want to buy you in 2-3 years? Because last year he scored 37 goals of 41 games. This is extraordinary. And still, they did not buy you. When you had Manchester United, Arsenal, in desperation as regards a point striker. This makes one wonder.
Sunday Oliseh, I almost called him Finidi George. Sunday Oliseh used some heavy comments, heavy words in that segment. He said, one, Victor Osimhen did not go or went to Galatasaray because the Premier League clubs did not want him now. And he also said, the heavier ones have, he said, I fear that this is the beginning of the end. Do you agree with those comments? Do you think that he only went to Galatasaray because Premier League clubs did not want him, and that this might be the beginning of the end?
They are not desperate for him enough. It's not as if they don't want him. I think they're not desperate for him. But the second comment scares me. And IoT, if we have to look at ourselves now in the face and talk to ourselves very well, Oliseh is, we have to agree. Moving to Galatasaray is a downward trajectory in Victor Osimhen's career. And I can tell you that if Victor Osimhen finishes his contract with Galatasaray, I think it's 4 years contract, is it?
4 years, yes.
So it's going to be 30 then. My brother, he's Bondi. If he's going to play in the Premier League, it's maybe Bondi, Sunderland or so. Let's be honest ourselves. This is the time that you sign Victor Osimhen. But if they are trying to dodge the bullet, it's tough. And I want to add one comment. He said something, you didn't play that part. He said that you should pray that Nigeria should qualify for the World Cup. Not even the AFCON. Don't even want the AFCON. No, the World Cup. If Victor Osimhen play very well at the World Cup next year, all these sins will be forgiven. Everything. Because it's going to be like another new baby. that's going to be in the world like that new baby entirely. And I can tell you that that one, that thing, that move where he wants, he will get it. But apart from World Cup performance, he should pray that he scored like 7 or 8 goals in Champions League, which I doubt. The goals in Turkey, it's not kind to go that you can take 3 steps and 6 score. Sorry, you have watched Turkish league. How many people have played in Turkey? That is okay. He proved himself in Turkey. Even the Turkish national team, they don't even pick players like that from their Turkish league. They don't even pick players like that from the Turkish league. So, Ayati, let's be honest ourselves. If he continues this way and he ends his contract with Galatasaray, he is really the beginning of the end.
It's tough, man. I don't like talking about Victor Osimhen like this, but like I've said in the past, if we cannot be honest with our own, who is going to be honest with him? The world will show him in a brutal way, like how he has seen this summer. I agree that the Premier League clubs do not want him enough. They wanted him, but they did not want him enough to pay him what he wanted. They did not want him enough to break their wage structure, to go against all the things that they felt were not right. They didn't want him enough to do all of that. Even though they wanted him, they would rather have taken the risk on other younger players, players with other backgrounds, players with other profiles than him. Is this the beginning of the end? I hope not. I hope not. Like you rightly mentioned, a good World Cup performance can change things because the World Cup throws people into the limelight. A good Champions League performance can help. But how easy is it going to be for him to move from Galatasaray? Let's say Osimhen goes to the 2026 World Cup this next summer, scores 5 goals for Nigeria. Let's say. Good performance. Now Galatasaray would start taking offers. We just paid 75 million for him. Where does the opening bid start from? 90? 100? Where do they start taking offers from? Will people want to pay 100 for him in a year? If they did not want to pay 75 for him now, plus the wages, because you can imagine, the way Osimhen is, if he does well at the World Cup, you think he's going to now use that one to now lower his wages? That's if the wage demand doesn't even increase after a World Cup performance. So if somebody was not willing to commit that amount of money to him now, would they commit it to him in a year when he's a year older? That's a question that I don't know. So I think it complicates things. Even though his good performances at these top tournaments will help, the financial aspect of the deal still makes it complicated. Again, the top teams have invested. Chelsea has signed 2 strikers on long-term deals. Unless those guys absolutely flop, would they be looking for another one in a year? Arsenal have signed Gyökeres. Would they be looking for another one in a year? United have signed a 22-year-old Chesko. Would they be looking for another one in a year? Liverpool have bought Ekitike, are still trying to sign Alexander Isak. Would they be looking for another one in a year? Maybe we see Spurs. Maybe Spurs. But will Spurs pay 100 million plus his salary?
No, we don't have
They have Haaland. Haaland is their striker for the foreseeable future. That's not going to change. Aston Villa have Oli Watkins. Maybe if somebody buys Oli Watkins from Aston Villa, that's what can make them to look for another striker. But will they pay a package of 200 million for Victor Osimhen? It complicates things. PSG right now have Ousmane Dembele as their number 1 player in the world. Would they be looking for Osimhen in a year? Real Madrid have Mbappe. Barcelona have Rashford.
You laugh, Seth. Okay.
So it's going to be tricky to see who is going to want him and is going to be willing to pay the huge financial package for him in a year. So I do hope that it's not the beginning of the end. But as 27 or 26, how old is it? 26 or 27?
Being 26.
At 20, yes, it's 26. His birthday is in December, I think.
Yeah.
At 26, signing a 4-year deal with Galatasaray, it gives Galatasaray all the leverage for negotiations in the future.
Mm-hmm.
They just paid a big amount of money so they can ask for a big amount of money. They are paying him big wages. He has a long contract, so they can always ask for more money because of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tricky, man. No matter, I know that the Osimhen fans will say, it doesn't matter, Joe. At least he's happy, his mental health. I always say, I don't look at players' money because the money does not come to me. I look at things purely from a football fan's point of view. Sunday they say might be right. I hope he's not right, but he might be right. This
Mm-hmm.
might be the beginning of Osimhen going into relative irrelevancy in the global football conversation. He would always be relevant in the Nigerian football conversation, but in the global football conversation, this might be the beginning of the end. Maybe for one more season, people might still pay attention to what he's doing in Turkey. But beyond that, after the World Cup, if he's still in Galatasaray, I think people will just be like, you know what, forget about this guy. Because again, other young players are still going to be coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was talking about Ikitike 1 year ago. Now
Yeah.
Ikitike is in the conversation. Nobody was really talking about Shesko before. Now Shesko is there. Gyökeres, but I was not really talking about this new season that is coming now. Some other players will come up that people will be talking about. Football is constantly moving forward. If he stays in Galatasaray beyond next summer, I think it could be going out of global relevancy. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on Victor Osimhen and everything that Sonny Oliseh said in the comments. I know Osimhen has diehard fans. I love the fact that he has diehard fans. I'm a fan of Victor Osimhen as well. I'm a supporter of Victor Osimhen, not a fan. But I fear the worst. I hope for the best. I will say that. Let me quickly just say thank you to Olaomi Okunola for the super chat. Much appreciated. We also have a question here from Bentley saying, what do you guys think about our match versus Rwanda being scheduled for 6th of September?
Yeah.
Is there anything particular about the dates? Like, just very quickly.
Yeah, because we'll play on the 6th against Rwanda and 9th against Africa. Just 3 days between them. And we have to travel straight to South Africa to give Fontaine. I don't know. I hope there's going to be no airport drama. Going from Nigeria to South Africa, but it's just too close. I just think that the NFF complained about it before. Well, I think it's too late. I think we'll have someone that is not really a good administrator as NFF president. So for him to accept this 6 to 9, I think it's really, really bad. It's too close. IoT.
We'll be all right. It's not the I personally, I mean, I hear the thoughts, but I personally am never worried about that. They'll be all right. They'll play the game, they'll travel, they'll play. We've seen worse situations. We'll still see worse situations. Okay. I'll take 2 callers and then we'll wrap up for this evening. Let me quickly say thank you to everyone that has stayed with us. Somebody asked for an FPL league, and I've got the code for you guys. If you want to join the Eagle Tracker FPL League, the code to join our mini league is 8WGCMX. 8W for wolf, G for God, C for cat, M for monkey, X for xylophone. 8WGCMX to join the Eagle Tracker FPL League. The winner of the league will get 1 jersey of a Premier League team of their choice. So if you win the league, you get a jersey of Premier League team of your choice for the next season.
You have them in abundance.
For the next season. So whoever wins the league, you can get a 2026-2027 jersey of your choice from the English Premier League. So join our league. Let us have fun. Let's engage. There's already I think 600 and something people in the league. So it's not easy. It's competitive. But if you trust yourself in FPL or you just want to have some fun, feel free to join the league. I'm in the league as well, so you can at least see how you rank against me. Okay. Temi Tokwe, welcome.
Good morning, IoT and Clive.
Good one.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
First of all, I want to address this issue. For me, Osimhen make mistake. I think that contract signed with Napoli. That renewal was the killer blow. At that time, they have left Napoli that time and better for him. That's one. 2, about the EPL team. Benjamin scored almost 37 goals, 39 goals in 3 seasons for last week. So, but football is now changing. They want young player to play for them. That's the basic thing. And for Osimhen, I wish he was going to Galatasaray because growing up, very good player don't play big clubs too. When we were 94 team, most of them play. Shigiman was clubless. In that World Cup year, was clubless. Am I lying? Larry was clubless. So, it was playing for Regina. So, football have changed. Osimhen is not a social media person like that. So about Osimhen, let's not leave Osimhen. Let's not wish him well. After a good AFCON and a continental good World Cup, play well in World Cup, he can make the move to a club you want. It's possible. But for me, EPL team are just hypocrites. You can say me school for how much? When for how much? And you know that the flop in you last year. School was flop was missing one with Japan, but because it was European and they have a good management. Osimhen don't have a good man, don't have a good agent. You don't have a boy, not agent. That's better agent and make him better move to black. So that's about that. Finally, on Ndidi move, all boiled down to Nigeria player having good agent because a good agent make good move for you. And when you are balling, make them quickly. Not wait for them. Did I make that move last 3 years ago? He was balling for Leicester City. Just move to make him better move now. But now it's late. Finally, before I go. On Falcons player ex-player demanding for handshake too. When they are playing football, Obasanjo was president. Then golden handshake. It's about Tinubu first major trophy at the Nigeria, you know. So that's into policy. In fan chanting good to them, they will see what they will do it. So for me, everybody go and rest. And let's vote for my focus now. In September, Rwanda versus Nigeria and South Africa. That's my focus now. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Tagwe.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Tagwe. Always.
Yeah.
It's not taking time. Before Tagwe is now
But
taking
he
more
had
time.
some strong points on the whole Osimhen situation. We can't go into it too much. I think for me, one big factor that we cannot ignore with Benjamin Sesko is that he's 22 years old. So age is on his side. He has a lot more time for them to get the best out of him. Whether or not we want to not look at that, I think it matters. But yes, Uche, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the Osimhen issue. It's appalling and it's kind of sad that the best talent that came out of Nigeria in 2015, if my memory serves me right? Yeah. So the best talent has spent, we thought by 10 years, a decade later, that player is ending up in Galatasaray, the Turkish league. I know many people will be saying, "Oh, he chose the best thing for his career, the money and stuff." But football heritage, football legacy is kind of better than the funds that you will get, because when you're done with the football, what is the next thing you do? Is that heritage and legacy that you keep, that you've left in people's minds, that will open more doors for you after um your playing time. Typical example, Mikel. Another example, JJ Okocha. It was his exploits in Premier League,
PSG.
PSG Premier League, that's been keeping him on everybody's mind. Everybody knows JJ Okocha because of what he did at the Premier League, at the World Cup, and at the Olympics. So it's at those major events that where do people see you more? So the problem is right now, Osimhen is in an obscure league, that's a Turkish league, and he won't have a lot of visibility. Um, what's his name? Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah went back to Italy, got better, and came back to the Premier League and banged in goals. It was when he was at the top of his game that he got better salary. He broke a lot of records, and that's why he got a better payday. So you don't expect to play in the Turkish league, and because you how did they say what's that word? I get them before, no be property. Yeah, so he get them before was in school. That was like 2 years ago. You went to the Turkish league. Nobody's going to Turkish league is 1.5, and you go where you score. Compared to the top 5 league where it's 2 points. So he's not even definitely they wanted him to take a lesser salary, and that's why he ended up in Galatasaray at the first instance. So you are negotiating from a point of at the weak at he's negotiating from the point of weakness, and so he doesn't expect that he was going to get that salary, and I think he needed to lower it down. Even though we are saying, oh, he's the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, you are the best thing since sliced bread. But they've seen Marco van Basten. Do you have better skill set than Marco van Basten? Do you have better skill set compared to Drogba? They've seen Eto'o. They've seen Nwankwo Kanu. So it's like they've seen George Weah. So they've seen all the superstars. So you won't be the first person to light up Europe. And it's more like if you do not want to play ball, just find whatever you want to do. And it's more like the system telling him you have to play ball again. He didn't. He said he wanted to. But hopefully that's the another thing is right now these current Super Eagles need Super Eagles. They need NFF to be at the top of their game. They need Super Eagles more than Super Eagles needs them right now. So they need to make sure that they qualify for the next World Cup. If they don't, it's an end on, and this will be like by the time the next World Cup comes in, most of them will be in their early 30s. So they really need to make sure they go for the World Cup to make sure that they have more argument for a better payday next year. So, and aside from that, in regards to I said like Rafael Yedika, I don't know why he has not moved yet. I thought he was going to be one of those stars that moved on to the next phase of his career. Hopefully, AFCON gives him. I feel like I think right now Chelsea should use more of Onyedika and Onyeka as the double pivot if it's to henceforth if we are to move on from Ndidi because Ndidi is not going to be at the top by next year. I'm not I just that's what I feel. Aside from that, that's all I know.
All right. Thank you very much, Uche. I appreciate
Yeah.
you joining us and sharing your thoughts as always. Thank you. Okay, I said it will take two people, but Humble Henry came late. So Humble Henry, please, you have 1 minute. Just give us your quick thoughts. Um, you came late, but I just want to get your thoughts very quickly, please. 1 minute.
Okay. I greet everybody.
Yeah.
Let me start from Super Falcons. The ranking. I think there's a partiality on it. The Super Falcons supposed to at least 25 something. Then Chiamaka, she did well. I wish her all the best. Then the coach, I look at it as how can somebody finish a foundation, build the first, second, then another person is now taking the glory. Give the coach 5 years, you will see how bad he is. Around the wardrobe, I'm sorry, yes, because he are the one that is the pillar of these players. We know what happened at the finals, but it will be another story. Because I'm about to see me. Oh my goodness. What? Osimhen, you don't suffer. I will not say anything now, but Sunday Oliseh should keep quiet. Let him close his mouth. Osimhen has branding. Osimhen doesn't need Nigeria for branding because Nigeria will not offer him anything. Rather, Osimhen will help the Nigerian people. I don't want to go into details. What again did he say again? His career. Osimhen will finish 4 years in Galatasaray. He will sign another 4 years. He doesn't want Premier League. Everybody should rest. Too many expectations. It's okay. So far as he's doing well in the national team, scoring goals for us, helping us, it's okay. Everybody should rest. Yes, Galatasaray, it's okay. Does Real Madrid want him with highest money? Yes. He said, no, I don't want to go into details. Everybody should allow him to rest. But the happiest part of it is that all this, he doesn't pay attention. The last thing I will say, Osimhen is a businessman. Osimhen is like Anthony Joshua. If you look at what he do things beyond the scene, Osimhen is like Anthony Joshua. Osimhen is like Tank Jovente, Tank Davis. Osimhen does not need to go and do TikTok or run around. Those things are nonsense. He's a businessman. Let us allow him to rest. 4 years in Galatasaray, he will finish it and sign another one. So everybody should rest.
All right.
That's the only thing I will say. Thank you.
Thank you, Humphrey. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, say something.
I mean, I see. I don't want to argue or to debate because I have to hop off. I even have an engagement I need to get to. But I will say this. We have to be realistic with ourselves. The Osimhen's branding is not up there, no matter how we want to look at it. He's a businessman. Yes, no doubt. He's doing things with his
So
money.
do you think he's up there with Anthony Joshua?
He's not up there with Anthony Joshua. Even Anthony Joshua is still very, very intentional about his branding, and we see it. Joshua is doing so much more. I'm sure Osimhen hopes to get there. And saying that Osimhen doesn't pay attention to those things, you lie to yourself. You lie to yourself. Believe me, all these footballers hear and see everything that is being said about them.
Mm-hmm.
He might not reply. It doesn't mean that he doesn't see or he doesn't care. He might just not reply, but he sees it, he cares.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not fool ourselves. But Umberland is always going to defend Osimhen, so that doesn't surprise me at all. But yes, Smilai, any final thoughts from you? Final word before we wrap up today?
Yeah, another good day, fantastic. I expect the conversation to be full and jam-packed. I expect you to have lots of people to maybe give them air dryer treatment or or just respond to them normally. Good program, but there was a final thing you did not take. I was hoping you should actually take it, but you didn't take it. Maybe probably in the next time.
Wait, what was that?
You mentioned that we don't have players in big club again. That we don't have players in top club. That was towards the end of it. He mentioned that, and I know that people can argue about it, but that is a fact. So I thought that was go debate that once likely, but that is that today. I really enjoyed the program today. I just hope that the guys support the channel Eagles tomorrow, and also World Cup qualifier. Is approaching. Just pray for the Eagles. Yeah.
All right. And for me, I would just say thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Engage with us in the comments. If you're watching on replay, thank you very much. You can still leave your comments. You can still support with a super chat. Of course, if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, just follow the podcast so that you know whenever we drop a new episode. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button, as it helps to send a signal to YouTube about the content that we create, and it helps the channel continue to grow. You can share it with your friends, your family, whoever you discuss Nigerian football with, so that they can continue to enjoy, and they can enjoy this wonderful content with you, with us, with you as well. Thank you very much. This has been another fantastic episode of the Naija FC podcast. I hope you guys enjoy your evenings, your morning, or afternoons, wherever you may be. And we will see you next week after the first full weekend of the 2025-2026 season. Who are you rooting for to win the Premier League? Let me know in the comments as well. Of course, you guys know who I'm rooting for. And you know who is not going to win? Arsenal. Thank you very much. My name is Ayoti. My co-host is